The international conference on resilient infrastructure that can withstand climate change is underway in Nice, France. With me is the Director General of CDRI, a coalition which was a brainchild of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But let me first start with this conference. What is the aim you plan to achieve using this conference?
Sure. So, as you said, it's the International Conference for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. We are a coalition that is focused on this agenda now for the last 5 years. The Honorable Prime Minister launched us in 2019 in the Climate Summit in New York, saying India will show leadership in this space of building infrastructure in a way that it doesn't get damaged by disasters and climate change. So the conference really is a way of bringing together different partners, different countries, different actors who are working in this space. We have experts in the room. We have country leaders in the room, we have engineers in the room, we have gender specialists in the room. So we have a variety of people in the room. The idea is, this conference in particular is focusing on coastal infrastructure, including small island developing states. And the idea is because we are participating, I'm standing in the UN Ocean Conference space that's being organized by France. France is currently the co-chair of CDRI, the coalition. And so when we were looking to organize this conference, they said, why don't you do it in partnership with us at the edges of the Oceans Conference? So we brought in experts to essentially focus on island nations. When you talk about coast, you talk about coastlines, you talk about islands. So we are really trying to see how we can push the agenda of island nations, both from a technical point of view as well as from an advocacy point of view.
Essentially, will it be right to say that the outcomes also feed into the UN conference on ocean?
Absolutely. So we've put together a draft 10-point agenda of what can be done in this space. Some of the deliberations are focusing on those 10 points. Some things like how do you get better design codes for infrastructure? How do you look at data today in a way which actually can help your decision making? How do you build capacities for resilient infrastructure? So there's about a 10-point agenda that we put together. That's being discussed, and the intention is that once that is discussed at ICDRI, we present it into the ocean discussion.
CDRI's role, if you can perhaps talk about it in last few years, how it has been supporting especially the countries of the global south.
Sure. So, we are trying to build capacity, understanding, knowledge, provide technical assistance to nations that may or may not be addressing the problems in a way that they need to. So, for example, in Fiji, we're helping build a multi-hazard early warning system. In the island of Dominica, in the Caribbean, we are trying to see how building codes can help strengthen buildings to withstand hurricanes. So we're doing such kinds of engagements now across 47 countries. We're also training, so we have a very robust fellowship program that is providing training to fellows. Now we have 160 plus fellows across our member countries. We've started a program to look at challenges of urban resilience. So we will, literally this next week, we'll share, we're supporting cities in Sri Lanka, in Bhutan, in Honduras, in Brazil, and in India to see how we can address growing risks related to floods and extreme heat. So what we're trying to do is looking at the intersectionality of risk which is emanating from both your natural hazards like earthquakes as well as related to climate change, like extreme precipitation or cyclonic patterns. How does your infrastructure need to perform in those events, and how do we build infrastructure in a way that it can perform in those extreme conditions? That's the sort of the building a knowledge around it, building examples of how we do it practically. At the same time, using the coalition as a platform to raise awareness of why this is such an important agenda.
Now, we know that this is the brainchild of the Indian Prime Minister. In fact, this is the second such major initiative of the Indian side on climate change after the International Solar Alliance. The membership has been increasing. I believe African Union became a member. If you can perhaps talk about the membership composition, who all are invited, what is the process to be part of the group?
Sure. So we currently, yes, you're right. I mean, yesterday was a really momentous day. That was Environment Day, and we have the African Union Commission join us as the 54th member. So we have now 46 countries and 8 organizations that have joined us. If you look at the geographical spread, we've got now 14 countries from Latin America, North America, and the Caribbean. We've got 8 members from Africa. We've got around 11 members from Asia. We've got about 6 or 7 members from Europe. We've got from Oceania, including the Caribbean, including the Pacific Islands. We've got around, I want to say, 6 or 7. So, we're growing. If you look at the geographical spread, it is really across the world at this point, and all kinds of countries. We have affluent countries or more developed countries like France and Australia and the US. We also have countries that are very small, like Nauru. We have countries that are in the space of development that we're going through right now, like Ghana and Kenya. We have Brazil. So, we have a really, really, really diverse set of countries that have joined us and that continue to join us. And yes, it was the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister to set this motion in motion. But at the same time, I have to give credit to other members who have been very much part of this process of engagement and bringing other coalition members together. I mean, under France's leadership, they've, with India, they have invited countries from the Francophone parts of Africa to join. Right? So it's a coalition. India has definitely been a leader in this space, but so are other countries contributing to our expansion and growth.
So my last question to you, what next for CDRI? What kind of ambition you are looking forward to, whether it's the global south or whether it's the expansion or whether it is organizing these such conferences where the world can converge and find platform to engage in best practices?
Sure. So look, I think the conference is only one vehicle. The bigger effort for us is really evidence on the ground. So the last 5 years, we managed to touch 47 countries, but that is only as beginning. The aim is that we go much, much, much deeper on the technical matters that matter most to countries. Build the case for resilient infrastructure by doing it. We've started doing it. We will continue to do a lot more of it. So how do our roads withstand landslides? How do our buildings not collapse during cyclones? How do our flooding doesn't become such an extreme problem? So that on the ground work will be a key priority. At the same time, the importance of bringing people together. Sometimes what happens, I'm quite impressed today. Not impressed is maybe not the right word, but I'm sitting in the room and I have somebody sitting in Fiji, somebody sitting in Dominican Republic who probably are not talking to each other. These are completely in different parts of the world. And yet there is a common conversation of saying, I have early morning challenges in my country and I have early morning challenges in my country. They're having a conversation. So that conversation will also be something that we will absolutely facilitate through a gathering like the one that we're doing.
On that note, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION here in Nice and also explaining us what is CDRI and its role at a time when climate change is the biggest issue. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
So that's the view from Nice, an important location where the important conferences are happening. Sidhant Sibal for WION in Nice, France.